Right, guys, thanks for taking the time to take a look at this. My name is Matt Wegner. I'm the attorney here, and today we're going to talk about Chapter 13 bankruptcy and how does it help you avoid foreclosure in your home. That's one of the main things that Chapter 13 is set up for. If you're facing a foreclosure, repossession on your property, so foreclosure on your home, repossession on your vehicle, various lawsuits, things like that. Chapter 13 is a really powerful solution, and it can help you get through your situation and get a fresh start that you need. So, obviously, Chapter 13 will stop a foreclosure from taking place. There are a couple of caveats that you need to know. If it's the first time you've filed bankruptcy, then that's great. You will get an automatic stay that prevents the foreclosure from taking place. If you've had one bankruptcy that's been dismissed in the last 12 months, that will also have an automatic stay in place, but that's only good for the first 30 days of the bankruptcy filing. After that, you would have to get a motion to extend stay on file with the court. Chapter 13 allows individuals to propose a repayment plan to pay back all or portion of their debt over 3 or 5 years. As you can see, basically to be eligible to file a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, you need to be an individual, so a business, an LLC, something like that cannot file for Chapter 13 bankruptcy. You need to have some regular income. Now that's kind of broad according to the bankruptcy court, so we're looking at income from your wages, from Social Security, retirement, things like that can be good income as well. Eligibility requirements, regular income, we just talked about, debt threshold. There are some restrictions on how much debt you can run through a bankruptcy. That changes, pretty often. Right now, I think we're up to, 400 something thousand dollars of unsecured debt. So whenever you meet with your lawyer, you need to make sure if you are carrying a lot of unsecured debt, maybe you had a business and you were running personal credit cards to carry the business, or we're seeing a lot of these like SBA loans that are outstanding. Some of those numbers can really make it difficult to do a Chapter 13 bankruptcy, in which case we're going to need to figure out some other non-bankruptcy options to do. And of course, you have to have a credit counseling course that has to be completed within, I think it's good for 180 days before you file the bankruptcy. So again, we provide a counselor that we deal with on a regular basis, and most law firms will have somebody to refer you to. The key benefits and protections of a Chapter 13 bankruptcy, like I said, it stops your foreclosure. That is the biggest thing, most common reason why we might want to file a Chapter 13 bankruptcy. 11 USC Section 362 is the automatic stay provision, and that's what actually goes into place to stop a foreclosure. Now, the bankruptcy automatic stay is good up until you it's good automatically. You also can get debt reduction, automatic stay I just mentioned. One of the most immediate effects of filing Chapter 13 bankruptcy is the automatic stay of 11 USC Section 362, and that will stop the foreclosure from taking place, assuming it's your first or second bankruptcy over the last year. If it's going to be a third bankruptcy filed in the previous 12 months, you need to make sure you speak with your lawyer. You get that figured out because you will not have stay protection automatically. So if it's your third bankruptcy in a 12-month period, you need to get a motion to impose the automatic stay in place, and that needs to be set for an expedited hearing. Don't wait and file it the day before your foreclosure, because again, if it's your third case, it's not going to be able to go through. So automatic stay, what we just talked about, protection from your creditors, starting the bankruptcy process, etc. Now, Chapter 13 does propose a repayment plan. It's either 3 years or 5 years long. That really has to do with your income level. 90% of our bankruptcies are going to be 5 years long. If you are below median, you do qualify for a 3-year bankruptcy. But again, if you're below medium, we got to wonder, are you going to have enough income coming in to fund your plan? There's a court approval process with the Chapter 13 bankruptcy. We prepare all the documents. You start making your first bankruptcy payment 30 days after we file. But your case does have to get confirmed by the bankruptcy court. That means that your creditors and the trustee have had an opportunity to review your documents. They may object to your plan or some way that you've calculated what your unsecured creditor pool is. Again, these are things you're going to work with your attorney, but it is a good process there. A little bit involved. Of course, bankruptcy court oversees all the bankruptcies. The players that you're really dealing with in a Chapter 13 bankruptcy are going to be your attorney and you. That's the debtor side. The creditor side is obviously your creditors, the banks, the mortgage companies, the lenders. There is a trustee. Now, the trustee is a middleman. They get paid based on the amount of unsecured debt that you have to repay. So the more you pay in your bankruptcy, the higher the trustee payments are going to be. So it's definitely something you want to keep an eye on. The trustees are not your enemy per se, but they're not your friend, even though they are friendly people. They are there to try to raise your bankruptcy payments ultimately. Filing for bankruptcy involves several steps. You got to prepare all the documentation. We're going to get everything from you to prepare the documents. Mostly we're talking about tax returns, bank statements, pay stubs. Our office, like most places, has a workbook that you're going to fill out. That's going to give us some good information that we need to prepare your schedules and statements. We'll also make your repayment plan. That's the plan of reorganization that'll be filed with the bankruptcy court. Reviewed all the documents with your attorney. We will, make sure you understand what you're signing. You list all your assets. You list all your debts. Are there any last minute changes we need to talk about? Are there any issues that, as your lawyer, I may have noticed that we need to make sure are clarified? Ultimately, we're going to get a set of schedules prepared. You are going to review them, and we'll file them with the bankruptcy court. About 40 days, give or take, after your bankruptcy is filed, you're going to have the meeting of creditors. You rarely are going to have creditors show up to these meetings, but that is where the trustee is going to meet you. Now, typically, that is going to be a trustee's officer. You don't usually deal with the actual standing trustee in most jurisdictions. There is a trustee's attorney, sometimes two. There's several paralegals, legal assistants, what we call trustees officers who are administered some kind of oath from the trustee, and they act in that trustee's shoes to review your paperwork. That happens at this 341 meeting of creditors, and then the trustees officer will make recommendations over to the standing Chapter 13 trustee or their legal department. Once we get everything set up and approved, you'll have monthly payments that you make each month to the trustee. Now, the Northern District of Texas is in a conduit jurisdiction. That means if you have a mortgage and you're past due on that mortgage, your regular mortgage payment and your catch-up payment is all going to run through the trustee's office. Now, if you're in the Eastern District of Texas, my office doesn't really file any cases there, but that's going up towards Plano, Sherman, up that way, out to East Texas and Tyler. But if you're over there, they do not require that conduit, last I heard. On one hand, it can save you some money. There's no trustee fee being asserted. But on the other hand, you run the risk of getting to the end of the bankruptcy and not having made all your mortgage payments, potentially losing your discharge. So you don't want to see that happen. Bankruptcy plans can be modified. Basically, we file a bankruptcy, you're in it for a few months, and then for some reason, your Chapter 13 bankruptcy, you start to fall behind. We can take that past due balance and catch it up over a period of time so that you have a chance to be successful. We do have to show that you're feasible. That means that we have to document you have enough current income to make the amended plan or the modified plan payments. Completion discharge. You get all the way to the end of your bankruptcy. You've made all 60 of your required payments, and you get to the end and you're able to get a discharge. So what that actually means is that any unpaid portion of your unsecured debts are discharged, just like in Chapter 7. They can no longer come collect against you. If you were paying a house or a car through your bankruptcy, those items will be paid up. The car, if you had an appropriate interest rate, that will be paid off. Sometimes we run into an issue where you get to the end and you have to send another $500 to your car lender just to pay off some uncovered interest charge, and usually there's some kind of fee with transferring the title and all that stuff. But those are things that you as a client would do directly with your lender. The big thing is if you file bankruptcy in order to stop a foreclosure, is that when you get to the end of it, your mortgage will be current and you'll just resume making your regular direct payments to the mortgage lender. So, conclusion really is pretty straightforward. A Chapter 13 bankruptcy is probably, in my opinion, the best tool for stopping a foreclosure. Some people will tell you that you can go to state court and try and get an injunction on that foreclosure, but that really requires a showing that there's some kind of issue with the foreclosure process from the lender. Most people that I meet with, they come and they say, look, I'm 6 months past due on my mortgage. I'm 8 months past due on my mortgage. I was out of work, but now I am working, so I'll be able to make the payments going forward. Some of the mortgage companies are really good about working through a loan modification with you, but at the same time, there are a lot of requirements, and those requirements change, seems like every day, depending on who's writing them up. So if you are past due on your mortgage, feel free to give us a call. You can see there's my handsome picture from about 3 or 4 years ago. We are a bankruptcy law firm. We handle consumer bankruptcy cases. You can call us 817-494-3344. Go on my website, attorneywagner.com. You can schedule your own free consultation. We do those in person or by video. Also, feel free to email me, Matthew@attorneywagner.com. All right, hope you have a great day. I hope this answers some questions. And again, feel free to reach out to me.